У вас вот здесь вот есть такая вот штука. Выбираете Russia, конечно, если же вы с России. Это для того, чтобы передавалось на сервера русские и, соответственно, качество стрима было лучше. Берете
Have you thought of a way to help me solve that murder?
Let's leave it for the evening. Come to the tavern after sun.
Бля, Андрей, я решил постримить. А? Да похуй. Да похуй.
Кто вы, господин?
Who is your lord?
Пан Ежик из Ранова. Там мы его, так мы его называем, хотя замка в Ранове уже давно нет. А что случилось с замком в Ранове?
What happened to it?
Раньше Ранов принадлежал Ченеку с несчитаемым ником. После его смерти замок захватил маркграф Иост и сравнял его с землей. Он знал, что вассалы чего-то там. Бля, ну имена здесь жопа.
Ronoff only fell to the Margrave because he declared them all illegitimate. All because Vincent had refused to fight for him against Sir Procop.
Пан Ежик возглавил восстание вассалов, но Йост окружил их армию. Спасся только пан Ежик. Ага, ага. А ты кто такой вообще? Меня зовут Рапота. Когда-то я был помощником палача в Брно. А как ты оказался на службе у пана Ежика? Я помог ему бежать из темницы. Если уж служить кому-то, так лучше пану Ежику, чем палачу. Значит, ты решил, что помогать разбойнику более добровольное занятие? Я думал, что если все изменится, то он перестанет грабить. Он отстроит Ронов. Ага, ага. Теперь все равно я предал его. Так. А на кого работает этот пан Ежик? Только не говори мне, что в один прекрасный день ему взбрендило в голову чеканить фальшивые монеты. Я этого не знаю, пан Йолик часто встречался с другими панами. Например, с кем? Мы часто гостили в монастыре, но я спал на сеновале и ничего не слышал. А кроме этого... И в лагере иногда я видел дворянина из Венгрии, но я не знаю, что он там делал и кто он такой. Я уже достаточно услышал.
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificat.
What's the matter, laddie? No good. Better think twice. Coming.
I'm sorry I can't tell you everything. But first I'd like to hear...
I'm from Skalitz.
Oh.
They're dead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It must have been terrible.
It was terrible. God knows why. I didn't make it to... They almost killed me.
My poor child. May God grant them eternal rest. Did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected...
He did, but I found a witness and the trail led here to Ujit, so he sent me here to...
Ah, well, congratulations. It's nice to see someone you... Now the most important thing.
The rumors aren't exact. The Neuhoff stud farm was raided. I'm sure they would have killed me.
I see it's every... Well then.
I've told you all about... I noticed your...
You know what they say.
But this is a...
Let's just say these days...
Well, we've had an agreeable chat, but now let's get down to business. So, about this confessional...
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters... If people stop...
I understand, but that...
Chin up, lad. I might have...
What?
If I tell you what Lubosh told me, I'd be betraying the confessional secret.
Word of honor?
On my soul.
I always wondered about the things a priest tells his convert.
Well, Uji... It has to be something top. The tongue lashing about the two popes goes down well, especially if they're about fornicate. Well, I hear he always... I'm thinking...
What's so amazing?
The preaching, the lament, just like a... They don't know... You want to baptize... What if the... Was such... While G... Look to... Amen!
Well...
Oh, the...
I don't doubt.
Let's drink.
Funny.
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. I'm one with...
Don't you think it's...
No.
What do you think?
If he got out of...
Where can I find...
You like...
What do the common...
They like it. In a few years...
Yeah, unless they...
Nonsense.
Thanks for the sir.
One ale, please. What do you suppose? We have a drink.
Ah, that sounds like a good plan.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Przyszła bida mora lat, to nie ustoi żadnej chlap. Na kraj padł desej smutek, do dnie i rano utek, niech już małżeński majstrat, do wczera żylne staje prak. Už sejmoj svatý muži, nechtěl bych bejbě jich učit. Nám je to jedno a tak si dáme jedno a požadem si huby jako poslední den. Buďme se vámi, panorama slávy a tak vypal sudy a posaď se mi sem. Tak posaď se sem a vypal je ven. Ukaž kozy jako vozy, zítra je tu soudnej den. Tak nalej mi hned a točí se svět. Dneska vůbec nikdo neví, zase zítra Ježíši a není to naposled.
Enough of this!
Bailiff, come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone.
So what?
So, I'll have you all whipped and put in the stocks, and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can ride is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out.
Oh, come on. Ah! Oh. You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
coming.
Bring it on.
Блин, втроем на одного.
So, my dear, would you like to have a little ring on the bell? No sooner said than done.
I'd love to. And Henry, too, I'm sure. Right, Henry?
Stop that nonsense, Godwin. Are you out of your mind? What will people say?
They can say what they like. What do I care? What do they do to me? Watch the step, my dears. Careful, you don't hurt yourself.
Это пиздец. Среди ночи. Ща и все деревья.
Here we are. Look at this beauty.
Oh. We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
This is wonderful.
Ah, bloody oath. And now, my dears, comes the climax of the evening.
Godwin, you old goat.
Come here.
The priest has mounted up. What do you say, Henry? Shall we take a little ride of our own?
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
Godwin, you beast! Get up! Do you hear me? Wake up, you drunkards!
Oh, fucking hell. Where the... Oh, what the... Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry. My great friend, Henry. Didn't we have a wonderful time?
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick. You haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Oh. My guts. Oh, my poor suffering stomach. Oh. What was that woman on about? Wait, before my flock eats me alive. I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten?
Where the fuck am I?
What the fuck was it? Oh. Mass! Oh shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass. You have to help me.
How? You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster. They're gonna excommunicate me. I'd like to help you, but you can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the stake?
No. No, I've got it. Suppose that Sir Ratzig's protege. You just came from studying in Prague. And you want to share the words of Master Jan Hus, who you recently heard preaching there. Henry, look, from what I remember, we might have overdone it a bit last night. And if the bailiff or someone else complains about me, the bishop's gonna have my guts for garters. So I'd appreciate it. Stop gaping at me like a stuffed squirrel and start helping.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad.
I'm not. It's a perfect plan. It's flawless. Oh. How about this? If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosh's cronies are.
Well, all right. I can't make any promises about what'll happen.
No, neither can I.
What do you want me to do exactly?
I'll go and start the liturgy. Then I'll introduce you. You give the sermon I told you yesterday. No need to drag it out. If it turns out well, I'll tell you what I know of...
Christ almighty.
Wonderful.
Never show up. The swimp.
Look at him. He can hardly walk after his capers last night.
You were with them, you beast. Just you. Look at him. Mother of God, any minute now he'll throw up.
So I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clamor.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas at venerabiles amanus suas. Hac facite in meam commemoratio.
А че ты поборжал, да?
Brothers and sisters, you may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz, who is here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where by the grace of God was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So Henry, you may begin.
Curious which one of them will cue first.
Greetings, brothers and sisters in Christ. I am here to tell you about Mother Church and to show you through my words how she is falling into decay and abandon, how the once great mother of all Christians is losing her dignity and trading in souls like the merchants in the temple. But I am digressing.
Can't well was to preach about the church.
One should not believe in the church, because the church is not God. God is above all things, and the church is but a means to salvation, which the prelates do not care to hear.
He's right.
It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, humans, hunger, and chaos. And it is all due to the corrupt servants of God who do not practice what they preach. They think sins can be washed away by money, and they sell indulgences, and that's bad. Because sins cannot be redeemed with silver.
Prague didn't do much for his confidence.
It is the custom of the gluttonous prelates and monks to preach against sin. But what do they know of us ordinary folk? Let us remember the marriage at Cana, where our Lord Jesus Christ himself feasted with the other guests and drank his fill. And when the wine was gone, he performed a miracle and created more. He, whose companions were poor travellers, simple folk, prostitutes and troublemakers, performed a miracle so the feast could continue.
Now that's the kind of sermon I like to hear.
No, brothers and sisters. Jesus did not condemn alcohol. Drink to lighten the cross you bear in this vale of tears, but not with such abandon that you cannot keep holy the Sabbath. For there should be moderation in all things, and it is not drinking itself that is sinful, but intemperance and beastly indulgence.
He's right.
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you only pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They play dice and garb their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates. Away with them.
We're fortunate to have our good Father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
I say to you, in the words of Jan Hus, he who knows much, let him speak much. He who knows little, let him speak little. Let each speak as much as he knows, and he who knows nothing, let him at least teach his neighbour one virtuous deed by setting him good example and refraining from playing dice and from fornication. And that applies both to priests and to you, brothers and sisters.
That's his conclusion?
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
Have you no shame, you pair of buffoons? I'll be writing to the bishop of this. For shame.
Utterly blasphemous.
Behavior for men of the cloth to get drunk at pigs in church.
What the hell?
Are you serious?
Brothers and sisters, let me get straight to the point. I'd like to talk about the church and how corrupt it is.
That boy has a cheek.
One should not believe in the church, because the church is not God. God is above all things, and the church is but a means to salvation, which the prelates do not care to hear.
He's right.
It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, cumens, hunger, and chaos. The accursed wealth that the church is drowning in is poisoning almost the whole of Christendom. When dogs are fighting over a bone, take the bone and they will stop. Just like the flock of ravens that has descended on this land to peck up every speck of gold and silver. They show no mercy. Their hearts are poisoned by covetousness. They trade everything. Everything is for sale. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay, and you will have absolution. And the prelates sin and give themselves absolution.
For shame! Shame upon them!
It is the custom of the gluttonous prelates and monks to preach against sin. But what do they know of us ordinary folk? Let us remember the marriage at Cana, where our Lord Jesus Christ himself feasted with the other guests and drank his fill. And when the wine was gone, he performed a miracle and created more. He, whose companions were poor travellers, simple folk, prostitutes and troublemakers, performed a miracle so the feast could continue.
Now that's the kind of sermon I like to hear.
No, brothers and sisters. Jesus did not condemn alcohol. Drink to lighten the cross you bear in this vale of tears, but not with such abandon that you cannot keep holy the Sabbath. For there should be moderation in all things, and it is not drinking itself that is sinful, but intemperance and beastly indulgence.
He's right.
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you only pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They play dice and garb their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates! Away with them!
We're fortunate to have our good father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
God sees what is happening on earth, and he is filled with righteous wrath that those who should seek the salvation of souls instead seek mammon and the idle comfort of lucrative posts. Blessed are the shepherds who share the poverty of their flock, who are as one with you and bear with you the burden of this earthly pilgrimage, who do not condemn your venial sins.
Aye, all honour to Godwin. Let him drink like one of us.
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, that was.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a silver tongue.
I don't suppose he'll ever get to Prague. He told it nicely.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. I wasn't the only one.
Well, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin.
So is gluttony. And fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubos tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now, slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you,
well, now Lubos came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out?
Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubos kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubos killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko, Pius, Timmy.
Pius. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledechko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck.
You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
Yeah, I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.
Are you serious?
Be off, I say! Be a bit more careful. Get out, you bastard, or I shan't hold back. I warned you, you cur! I'll wring your neck, you cur. Bugger! Jesus Christ.
someone there?
This won't take long. Come here, lily liver. You awesome. Ow. What's the matter? Come on! Gone weak at the knees, have you? Bollocks! I'm gonna enjoy this. Come here, Lily Liver. You won't last long. Take that!
I'm looking for a fellow called Riki. Do you know him?
Riki? You mean Hinek, the courier's son?
Maybe. Do you know where I might find him?
Well, he's not usually around here. Try asking at his home. But I hope you've got a thick skin. The old courier ain't exactly charming.
Why do they call Hinek Riki?
He's a tanner, isn't he? If you're ever downwind of him, you'll understand. Tanning is...
True enough. But not every courier gets cursed with a name like that.
Well, Hinek's nature's no...
What the hell was that? I'm honored that a knight such as...
Let's have a word about the price.
Aye?
Here. And something for your trouble.
My word, thank you kindly.
I'm looking for a fellow called Riki. Have you ever heard of him?
Why wouldn't I? That's what they call my son, Hinek.
Ah. You wouldn't happen to know where he is, would you?
I don't know nothing.
Don't you at least know where he usually goes? It's important.
Hinek shows up at home once in a blue moon, so I don't know nothing about where he gets to. Even if I did, why would I tell every Tom, Dick and Harry?
Your son is about to get into deep shit. I'm trying to find him so I can warn him.
That's nothing new. He's always up to his ears in it.
But this time his neck's on the block. He got mixed up with some very dangerous people. I have to find him.
I'm not surprised. But I still can't help.
Watch your tongue, peasant. I'm an envoy of Sir Radzig Kobyla, and this is an official investigation.
I apologize if I offended you, young man. But still, I don't know where Hinek is.
And you don't know where he went? What?
Look, it's been clear to me for a long time that my boy was headed for the gallows. I'm still his father, right? And you can't expect me to rat on my own son.
If you value your son's life at all, you better pray I find him, because I'm not the only one looking for him.
That's no surprise. But what of it? If you're here on behalf of Sir Radzig, there's nothing waiting for Hinek but the gibbet.
It doesn't have to be that way. If Hinek cooperates, he can save his neck.
I can't say you put my mind at ease. But to hell with it. All right. He was here a few days ago, but he left right away. He looked like...
And you don't know where he went?
I've got an idea.
I don't follow.
Hinek makes some money on the side from poaching. He boasted to me a few times.
Well, it's not much to go on, but it's better. Don't you have any clue at all where he's hiding?
I really don't know nothing about that. I could tell when he'd come from.
How's that?
Because every time he brought some hides for tanning and money.
He had money because he sold the stuff right away?
I suppose. He never kept any of the...
Do you know who he sold it to?
No. But the innkeeper came here now and again and gave him coin.
All right. I'll ask at the...
Why not? All right, so.
I'm interested in your services.
So what you interested in?
A bit of everything. Heal my wounds, have a proper bath.
As you wish. Do you?
I'm not giving you that much.
And how much are you willing to pay? You won't regret spending the money, I guarantee it. God bless.
Good day to you.
I want to ask about the courier's son, Hinnock.
Then ask someone else. I have nothing to do with Riki. He'd only drive my customers away.
Really? I heard a different story. I heard the two of you do business together.
Who are you, anyway?
A friend of Hinnock's. He's gone missing and I need to find him.
I don't know where he is. But if you find the bastard, tell him he still owes me some goods.
I've no time for this. I have to find Hinnock, and you're going to help me.
Am I now? Even if I did know, why the hell would I help you?
This is a nice alehouse you have here. It would be a shame if anything happened to it.
Are you threatening me?
What do you think? So are you going to talk, or do I have to beat it out of you?
Fine. Let's get to the point then.
See now? Where there's a will, there's a way.
I did some deals with Riki, but I swear to God, I don't know where he is.
I hear Hinnock has a hideout in the woods he uses for hunting game. Do you know where it is?
Not exactly. That is... I don't know where it is at all.
But
I happen to know it's a dark place, a cave.
How do you know that?
Whenever Riki was going poaching, he always came to me first for candles and lamp oil. He brought the game skinned and gutted, so we had to have a light for that.
And do you know of any mine shaft?
There's a few of them around. There's one on the opposite bank. Then there's a mine gallery to the east of the village. And I heard there's one shaft on the headland close to the water.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Watch you don't break your neck, though. It's rough ground.
Hey, look out! Folk these days.
Jesus Christ. What am I to do? Not that I can expect any useful advice from you. At least, you have no more cares.
Need someone to talk to?
Fuck! Don't kill me. I can explain. I won't tell anyone. I swear, I've no one to tell anyway. Just please don't kill me.
I'm not planning to kill you.
You're not one of Runt's men?
No.
Huh. Then who are you?
I came to warn you. They're coming for you.
That's so. Good job I'm hiding out here then.
They killed your friend, Lubos. Nailed him to the door of his own house.
Why do you think I'm in hiding?
If you don't want to end up like him, you better tell me what you know.
And how will that help me?
If they come to a bad end, they won't be bothering you anymore, will they? And if you help me, I guarantee they will come to a bad end. One way or another.
Fine. What do you want to know?
That Neuhoff raid of yours didn't turn out quite as planned, did it?
Depends on whose plan you're talking about. We were up to it to grab some loot and bugger off. Only Runt's cutthroats was there to shed blood.
What do you mean, Runt's cutthroats?
There were two gangs then, mine and Runt's. We was only there to steal, but they wanted to slaughter everyone.
But when you realised what they had in mind, you didn't have to go along with it, did you?
But we didn't know nothing, even though we were going to Neuhoff. They told us to keep watch on the courtyard. Well, they were cutting the horses' throats. Jesus, that fucking vexed me. Their horses was the most valuable thing there. When I spoke up, though, Runt gave me such a bollocking I knew I'd better keep my mouth shut. And when they said we was going to kill anything that moved, then we knew there was no going back.
Who got your two gangs together? You must have made contact somehow, right?
Pius. He comes to us and says he's got this prime job. We're going to rob a farm, he says. That was a big deal, because mostly we just did small stuff. Hold up on the road now and then, nothing fancy. When they told us how much we could make on it, well, we just couldn't refuse.
So Pius knew them?
I suppose, but I don't know where from. We even got paid up front. I should have known from the start it was too good to be true.
That gang of yours, what can you tell me about them?
Don't know what you want to know. There was 4 of us. Me, Timmy, Limpy Lubosh, and Pius Pavel. Sometimes we'd rob a place or hold up pilgrims. Never nothing fancy.
I'm sure you did mischief enough. Who led you?
Pius. He was the oldest and he'd mostly find the jobs for us. Plan them and the like. He got us into that fucking mess in Neuhoff too.
What about the others?
Timmy's strong as an ox, with a brain to match. You got more sense out of a fence post. And Limpy, I've been with him the longest. He's my one and only friend, I suppose.
Where did the rest of your gang end up?
You saw Limpy, right?
Yes, but he's no use to me now. Tell me where I can find Pius or Timmy.
I don't know nothing about Pius. He vanished in the woods, and I haven't seen him since. Timmy, I reckon, went back to the mill where he works.
Which mill?
The windmill a bit north of Neuhoff.
Did you know any of Run's people?
Not a one. They didn't talk to us at all. None of their faces was familiar either. The only thing I know is they called that huge chief of theirs Runt, and Pius warned us to watch out for him.
I don't suppose you know where they got to after the raid?
On the way to Neuhoff, Timmy told me he was at their camp with Pius. I reckon that's where they've gone now.
Did Timmy tell you where the camp is?
Somewhere in the woods. He didn't say nothing more. Thing is, Timmy's got quite an imagination. But Pius roared at him to shut it, so I reckon there must be something in it.
Tell me exactly how the raid went down.
Well, we stormed in from the rear. Runt's people started slaughtering the horses. Jesus, that... Meanwhile, me and Limpy had a sniff round the stables to see if we could find anything worth pilfering. And in the end, we got lucky.
What did you find?
Smill, Sir Hanisher's groom. I don't know why he was up and what he was doing in the stables, but we took advantage of the situation. Limpy grabs him by the throat and I slapped him round to encourage him. Then it all fell apart at the seams. Quicker than you'd believe. Runt comes running up and skewers the groom like a pig for roasting.
And it wasn't?
No, not in the...
What happened then?
I'm gaping at Smill, stuck through and through, and I noticed this boy standing at the other end of the stables. The stupid sod's pointing at us, jaw hanging down to his knees, saying... So me and Lubosh start running, because the lad took to his heels. At the same time, we caught up with the boy at the next farmhouse. I knock him to the ground, but he bashes me with some piece of iron so hard my head's ringing like a fucking church bell. Limpy grabs it off him and stands over him, with his bodkin in his hand, and I start praying. In the end, Limpy just gives him a kick and says, "Beat it, Ginger." And then Runt shows up at the gate and hollers that we gotta go, so we scarp him.
What happened after the raid?
We were waiting for that fool, Timmy. Same place as we met them before, so we'd know where we were, right? Stupid fucking idea. But Pius didn't want to leave him behind. Only when Timmy finally turned up, 2 of Runt's men were dragging him.
There was some difference of opinion.
You could say that, yeah. They started on us right away that we were traitors. They knew we'd let somebody get away, and now we were going to pay for it. They started trying to surround us, and we knew what was coming. But Limpy took his bodkin and let that fucker have it in the belly.
Runt?
One of the others. Timmy broke free from them, and we all took to our heels. Luckily, they were so buggered from the raid, they didn't follow us.
That's all I need to know. So now what do I do with you?
Well...
Hey, over here!
Oh shit. Runt's people. We've got to get out of here.
They're too close. We'll never outrun them.
Fuck!
At least they don't know I'm here. The 2 of us can take them by surprise.
No fucking way. I'm gone.
Look here. If you run, they'll catch up with you and kill you. And me too. Together, we stand a better chance.
Jesus Christ. All right. I suppose you're right.
Hey, who's there? Hey, what are you up to? What have we got here? Entertainment! Great! Bring it on! Ah! Ah! Giving up already? What's the matter? Come on! Oh.